Welcome back to the Bilal Vakani Hour. Super excited to be joined by Jay Stoyan. He is one of the hosts and the CEO, as well as the founder of the Disability Channel, a guy I've gotten to know a little bit more off the air, and I'm really excited to introduce him to all of you. How's it going, Jay?
Well, thank you, Bilal. You've been very helpful, very supportive of our channel. So I want to thank you. I want to thank your team and Joe and Peter. It's been great. You guys have had me on a couple of times on other shows, and I really appreciate the support because we are the Disability Channel. We are newly created. We've been around about 7 years now, but it's still, we're getting our legs, but we're getting more notice. So by coming on your platform means the world to us.
No, and it's funny because I've done some segments on Special Olympics, and that's sort of one part of this, right? It's the athletic side of it, but there's so much more. You guys cover music, you cover sports. So can you give a bit of an overview of all the things that fall into this umbrella? Like we're talking podcasts, we're talking YouTube videos. Like I'm probably already missing things, and I'm trying to list everything, Jay, I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. So it's kind of funny because about 15 years ago, I'm a big dreamer, right? I just dream big and I love to chase the fight. I'm all about the chase. So about 15 years ago, maybe even 20, I said it would be amazing to own my own TV channel. That's all I said, right? So fast forward maybe 5 years after that, I was in a jewelry corporation business with my family because I have an incurable illness called familial Mediterranean fever. And I'm in my 50s. So growing up back in the 70s and 80s, you didn't really tell people that you have an illness because they would pick on you. That's the way it was. Yeah. So my close friends and my family knew. Like I said, I worked for a family corporation. Well, we sold it in 2001, 2002. We were in the first Canadian place. 9/11 hit. First Canadian place was owned by a Jewish family, the Reichmans. A lot of the clients in the building were Jewish. We lost half our business. They went home or they left the building. So I thought it was time, sold it, got into the entertainment business with no experience, no drama classes, no nothing. Everybody looked at me like I had 6 heads. Hence the TV station. I just started to promote myself for about 5 or 6 years. It went okay. Didn't go great. Went okay promoting myself as the new Johnny Carson. Like I said, I dream big. Yeah. So I was with the channel. I became a published author. I got picked up by Rogers on television. Then I got picked up by Fox Entertainment. So I was on Fox, but not my channel. I was just a host on television with no experience. Not bad. Not bad. Right? So about a year and a half into my Fox experience, luckily I never got sick because I never told them about my illness. Just worked out. I never got sick on Friday nights. I had an hour show Friday night. I was after Friends. Then before How I Met Your Mother, I think it was the first year it came out. So it was great. I was behind Friends for an hour. And How I Met Your Mother, my first guest was Frank Sinatra Jr. and a Playboy bunny. It was fabulous. Hence, about a year and a half into the show, I kind of got a little bored. I'm not starstruck too much. Don't get me wrong. I went and met a couple of people. Like I interviewed Oprah. That was kind of exciting. And Jeff Bridges. So wow. But after a while, it's, okay. So I decided I needed to do something. What am I going to do? So I came up with the idea. It's time to let people know I have an illness blind. And I combined my illness with television. And I created the Disability Channel more or less for myself because I needed a job. We sold our business. We did okay, but I needed a job. I was in my early 30s. I got to do something. So fast forward, it got popular. I created in 2014. It got popular. It got really popular. And now my whole goal was to create a channel. Now I have a channel called the Disability Channel. I never thought it would be showcasing abilities because I always hid my illness. So forefront, I think the Lord had a plan for me. I have an illness. I, like everybody else, I had my struggles when I was a kid, but nowhere near other people who have very, very serious illnesses. Now, mine's serious. It's incurable. You can't cure it, right? It's called familial Mediterranean fever. It's as close to COVID as you can get. I'd blow your mind off your listeners if I told you what my symptoms are, right? And now what we do, we create Disability Channel. It's all across Ontario, it's across Canada, it's across the USA, across the world, social media, online and all that, and TV. We're on Bell. We're on Cogeco. Sorry, I talk a lot. Talk
It's
so
all
loud.
good.
You know, so, but our main focuses are, we are an employment program platform for persons with disabilities and veterans. So we create tangible, positive employment program platforms in media, and we are endorsed and financed by the Ontario government. So Doug Ford's administration is my business partner, and it's expanding because during COVID, we've had an 85% success rate of job placements. But let me explain that, because when I say job placements, a lot of them are, most of them are part-time, because most of my staff or our graduates, they're not able to work full-time. They can work 15, 20 hours a week. Some can work 40, some can't. So, but during COVID, we've been able to place them all online jobs. I think a few in person, but you know how in person's working these days. It's coming back, I know, but so it's been great. We've had wonderful support. I have wonderful associates like you guys, right? Hopefully we're going to build on that. The Toronto Star, we're in the paper all the time. They're great associates of mine. The NFL, the list just goes sort of on and on. And then we brought on the Veterans League. So within the last year and a half, the veteran world found out what we're doing for persons with disabilities, and they asked, is that extendable to veterans? And I said, 100%, like, come on in, or let me come through your door. So this is what we do now. And then we get to showcase it on television, right? So we get to showcase all the success stories, all the graduates, all the opportunities, education, information, awareness, diversity, inclusive. It's all good stuff. And you know what? It just came to me. I didn't have a game plan. I didn't sit down and go, I'm disabled, I need to help my community, which I'm doing, but it just came about.
I'll jump in here. Jay Stoyan, he is one of the hosts and the CEO and the founder of the Disability Channel. And I guess let me put it into terms for our listeners, right? They're listening, they're hearing about this, and I think you have no pulse if you're not somewhat inspired by this. But I guess the way I would sort of preface it to them, and you can correct me on this, is if somebody's listening and they're thinking, well, should I go follow them on Twitter? Should I go check out the website? And it's funny because we're in a society that consumes so much media. It's show upon movie, upon show, upon short. And I think when you talk about creating employment opportunities for people who may not have the connection or have the training to do so, there's the old expression of voting with your wallet, but also, what you view builds the future of the society you have, if that's an expression. I think I just threw a bunch of words together, but I think that's kind of what we want to get across, right, Jay? Like, for anyone hearing us right now, if you can check this out, if you can follow it, if you can give it a moment of your time, it's going to help you create more opportunities for people in that community to be part of society and to bring us all together.
It's so true. Like, growing up, I didn't have this opportunity, right? The only opportunity I had was the opportunity provided by my mom and dad. That's it. Like, that's it. Nobody else. The school was great, but I missed so much school growing up because I was ill. And I spent my, up until I was 11 years old, half my youth or half my childhood in sick kids, until they told my mom, take them home, never get them vaccinated. So I have no vaccines on my body, right? And you know what's going on with the vaccine world.
Yeah.
So and unfortunately, all the doctors that advised my parents when I was 11, they're all dead. Right? They're all dead. So I've talked to the top doctors in Canada 5 in a row now regarding my condition. So they've all come to the conclusion that, well, we think we know your condition, but we don't really. And you seem to be doing okay. So maybe go with your gut feeling, Jay. And I said, I am going to go with my gut feeling, because I was told, don't get any vaccine, because we don't know. We don't know. It could kill you. Right? So, but again, I love the entertainment business. We have shows like we create a sports show. So we've been to the Super Bowl 5 years in a row. And this is all providing opportunities, because if you go on our dial, www.thedisabilitychannel.ca, you'll see our shows and you'll see what we're showcasing. And all behind the scenes are all our graduates. So I think we have maybe about 50 employees at the moment, and I think like 49 of them are disabled.
Oh,
All inside, outside, internal, external, missing limbs, Down syndrome, autism, all the whole gamut, sort of thing. And now with the veterans.
yeah. Jay, I want to kind of leave it at this point because otherwise you and I will just sit here and talk all day, and then I'll miss my other meetings and tapings. But I want
Yeah.
to throw this out at you. Inclusion. You mentioned it briefly, and diversity is sort of this general term, right? And sometimes people don't even think about disabilities as part of that, but it is part of it. And it's funny that since George Floyd, I've been thinking about sort of cultural diversity. You can talk about Indigenous Canadians, and that has been sort of my first focus. But this is no different. This ultimately is all about the same thing, and it's about sort of removing those barriers to entry for people, so they can be part of a workforce, but also part of a social circle, and they can live long and full lives. And I think we sometimes get in our own camps and we don't even recognize that we're almost, I would think, all trying to work towards the same thing. And it's just about having that communication and having that connection to see those similarities.
Well, I agree, and I agree with all sectors that you just talked about. Now, the disability sector is the biggest one in the world, right? So we're 1.1 billion strong. We grow every day. We do not discriminate. We'll take all of you. But just imagine, Bilal, just imagine growing up, and you know how tough life is generally to succeed. You have to grind it out, get educated, put your work in, put your time in. Imagine doing that with a disability and a severe disability. Like, I mean, I God bless everybody, but when you're disabled and you have to go through life, unless you're disabled, you don't realize what a disadvantage it can be. Not necessarily will be, it can be. And it's up to us, the channel, to support people who need the support, right? I had the support growing up from my mom and dad and my family. So I feel it's my obligation to turn that around and help people that maybe don't have that situation.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly well said. And Jay, I'll share this story with you very quickly, and we'll go. So when I was a kid, my parents started to teach me Urdu, and English became my second language. And I ended up sort of in the special program for learning English. And it took me from the age of 6 to the time I was in grade 5 just to catch up with everyone. And that's a fraction of what you just described, right? But it just shows you how even if you're able, uh, something like a language, just your order of languages can throw you off by half a decade, right? And it puts you behind the eight ball. And again, you're right. I think for any of us who are able, we don't fully understand it, and that's why I think we just need to open our minds and our hearts and hear what you guys have to say.
And look what you just said. Who helped you out? Your mom and dad.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like they sort of put me a step back by teaching me the languages in the wrong order, as far as I'm concerned. But
But you had
it all
100
worked out.
support, right? Yeah, you had 100 support from your mom and dad. But
Yeah.
imagine without your mom and dad there, boy,
Well, and
you'd be
this and this
lost.
and
You'd
the
be lost.
school and the programs, right? Like being able to identify at the age of 6, this is what you need. Stick to this, and you'll catch up. And then before you know it, you catch up. And I think that's a lot of what you're doing. And as you said, it wasn't available for you when you were younger, and to be able to give that to people, it's just great. Anyways, Jay Stoyan. He's one of the hosts, CEO, and founder of the Disability Network. I'll be talking to him again, and I could honestly spend probably the entire show with him every week, but I do like to diversify the guests, so I'll only
Ah,
bug him for a third of it. Jay, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for everything you do, and I always got your back.
thank you, Bly. I really appreciate the opportunity.